Hi, right, so I'm here with Will, our head of AI and technology.
And action.
So, big news from OpenAI this week, launching the App Store and the...
Take 74.
Right, so big news is... Right.
Why can't you stop yourself?
Yeah.
You must imagine, like, if you work on films,
Yeah.
like, and like TV. You're making me laugh now.
Okay, we're rolling, people.
Yeah, so I'm here with Will, our head of AI and engineering at the Festival of Entrepreneurs at the NEC in Birmingham. So, Will, how's your day been so far?
Yeah, it's been great. Like I've had lots of really exciting conversations with a wide variety of people. Actually, it's been really interesting, from sort of business owners with 40, 50 people, like right down to sort of some individuals, and even been interviewed by a couple of children. So yeah, it's been a real variety. Open an app store, like have a sort of platform where you can actually start inside their world, effectively, to start using other systems. Like really interesting progression in technology. It's kind of just a slight aside, but like this is all built on the technology of MCP servers, which basically is a sort of model context protocol is what it stands for.
Right.
And that's a thing that lets LLMs and ultimately enables agents to talk to data sources, so and tools, so you can actually sort of have an interaction where typically is on an API between systems. Like, it's not enough in the world of AI agents, and so this sort of new protocol, which was developed over the last year, 18 months or so, and it's like becoming into, and this is the first example of it really coming into the big time, like on with OpenAI releasing their sort of platform for that.
And so what does that mean for me as a business owner and my tech stack that I've got, my app and my website? Do I now need to start, so I'm optimizing for SEO, am I now having to think about how to get myself onto OpenAI as a platform, and how would I start to think about that?
I think there's possibly this is a very early release. They've picked a few key businesses to work with to release apps like at release time, and they're actually now sort of releasing this in a very early state. So I think sort of businesses who are already big name apps on like SaaS apps, I think you'll see them coming into this ecosystem. I think I'd probably just, as for smaller businesses than these mega online companies, I think we probably just want to wait and see a little bit, see how this evolves. Is this going to be the new app store like the Apple App Store was back in the day? Or is this actually just going to be another sort of thing where you could sink a load of time into, but it doesn't add a lot of value from a business point of view?
One of the announcements that kind of went under the radar, I feel, was around their kind of e-commerce functionality. So I'm not sure if you've seen too much about this, but their ability, basically the direction of travel that I can see is that users will go interact with ChatGPT and be able to purchase products from there and use that as their kind of one-stop shop for digital interaction.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's definitely going to be a direction of travel here. They want to own the whole life cycle of the customer, and I think you can see that like sort of adding in purchasing is obviously the first step, like to doing that, and like being able to find products and go end to end and purchase them like within your conversation with ChatGPT. Obviously, really. Like you can see why they want to do that and take a commission in the process. I'm sure. I think it really puts it sort of puts people like Google at a sort of risk, I think, from like, and typically like going through websites and moving SEO into GEO, and how that all evolves is going to be an interesting space. Like I also think there's going to be at some point advertising in the ChatGPT space, because just like Google have made huge amounts of money from advertising, the money prize is surely too big for OpenAI to avoid that. And having ads placed alongside in this process just feels like that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I think the first stage is, well, we started off with AIO, which is getting your brand listed on that search results page and the AI feature, then GEO, optimizing your website so it can get featured in the LLMs. And yeah, 100%, I think there'll be a pay to play.
Definitely in the free tiers, and actually I wonder whether there's this thing now about how Google have never been able to kind of charge you ultimately for a subscription, but it feels like we're going into the same state the other way around now. So you pay for a ChatGPT subscription if you want to, and that will keep you ad free, and then if you want to be free, then you'll get the ads, and it's almost like happening the opposite direction. But the massive benefit for OpenAI for that is obviously that they're going to get they get the best of both worlds, whereas Google have always just had the advertising. So yeah, it's an interesting space evolving quickly.
And so I guess bringing it back to a business owner or someone who wants to be on the front foot with all of this. So obviously implement your GEO strategy as well as you can. Make sure that the content on your website is chunked and readable for an LLM. And then I guess the next step will be just wait and see what OpenAI come up with and guidelines around the readability.
Yeah, I think on the app front, I think I definitely would just wait a bit and see if that's really a thing. Like, what are the priorities? Again, it's back to business priorities. It's like, what's the priority? Is the priority having an app here, or is this actually going to be a bit of sort of smoke and mirrors and it's all hype for a small number of bigger players? I think absolutely getting your geo strategies in place now. There's some interesting other things coming out alongside this that I've seen recently. So for example, like returning your website as Markdown instead of HTML to LLMs, right? Because it makes it much quicker for them to process. It's much higher structure, which they can interpret better, which will ultimately, no one's saying this yet, but that's going to give you a better chance of being ranked and effectively referenced in the summaries, because the AI's got a much cleaner structure. So there's going to be a lot of upcoming sort of best practice, I think, coming out, and a lot of this is yet to be seen. But definitely, if you can, in the old days, or if you like, where sort of Google has a certain amount of crawl budget for your site, and it will spend that much time crawling it, and if you waste that by giving it loads of rubbish, you've wasted it. I think similarly, the LLM providers will have a similar approach, and they've only got a certain amount of compute time to use. So if you can provide high quality, structured data back to them, you're going to get more of your data in there, more structured how you want it, which is surely going to result in that better use of that information in search results. And that field, there's going to be an emerging field here as SEO evolves.
Final other thing to discuss would be their third announcement, which was around the agentic workflow mapping that you can do now within ChatGPT. And again, I'm not sure if you've seen this too much.
Yeah, all super cool. I just feel like this whole space is so exciting, because you've got there's some competition. As in, do you want to map out your workflows within ChatGPT or within in the OpenAI world?
Yeah.
As in, do you want to build your sort of your custom GPTs and your whole agent? Can you build that all out in their world, or do you want to sort of other things like N8N or Make, or doing through sort of designing your automations and your workflows? But a lot of people are getting into the workflow space, and as the world wants to adopt agents, and I think there's it doesn't have to be one winner takes all here. Actually, I think there's different tools for different use cases possibly. But yeah, definitely seeing this cropping up in all kinds of different tools now, so the workflow management.
And I think that one's going to be really pertinent for a lot of business owners who have dabbled with N8N or Make or Zapier, even to try and get ahead of their business operations and their automations. So yeah, I would just suggest go out there, try it, see what it's like.
Yeah, and again, I feel like some of the conversations I've had today is where people they're trying, they're dabbling. We've got business owners who are like, well, I've tried doing this with N8N, and I've managed to do a simple thing, and it says it's no code, but actually, I can do a simple thing with no code, but now I'm stuck because I need to write some code, or I need to have specific knowledge, and that's where you need some support with sort of building out that next layer of complexity, which I think is over time these systems will do more and more with no code. But I think there's still like knowledge to be sort of supported through that process.
Great. Right, thanks very much, Will.
Cool, brilliant, thank you.
I really hope Dom's pressed record on that.